Well, a picture might be worth 1,000 words, but the cover of the latest New Yorker could be worth a lot more. Take a look at this. It portrays Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama and his wife as Muslim terrorists. Both the Obama and McCain campaigns call it tasteless and offensive. But the New Yorker says, quote, satire is part of what we do. And it's meant to bring things out into the open, to hold up a mirror to prejudice, the hateful, and the absurd. And that's the spirit of this cover. Joining me now from Atlanta, conservative radio talk show host Shelley Winter, and in Los Angeles City Council member and Barack Obama supporter Bernard Park Sr. Gentlemen, good to see you both.
Good afternoon, Kara.
Hello there.
Councilman, good to see you both. I'm doing very well. Councilman, you actually just called for a boycott of the magazine. Tell me why you are so outraged about this cover.
I think it's outrageous that we'd have a cover that would depict racism, sexism, anti-religion, also anti-patriotism, and then on top of it, to try to draw a conclusion that Mr. Obama has some sympathy towards terrorism. And all of those are depicted in this magazine cover with no explanation, and with the thought that as people try to justify it, that maybe they'll read the story and get a different perspective, or that the everyday person understands satire. I think it's something that's outrageous, well over the top, and is totally unnecessary, particularly in this time and this date.
Now, Shelley, satire is supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be thought-provoking, it's supposed to be clever. Do you see this as over the top?
Absolutely not. Kara, this is interesting to me. The New Yorker is not a news magazine. The New Yorker, and since 1925, it's been a high-minded, journalistic, literary publication. Nothing in their description calls it a news magazine. So if Time or Newsweek did something like this, I'd be right on the side with Mr. Parks. But this is the New Yorker. E.B. White has come out of here. John Cheever, countless authors have come out of this magazine. And so I think what they did, it absolutely shows what this cover shows exactly what the article is about. I would say if you're going to boycott...
Wait a minute, there's my question. This cover doesn't demonstrate what the article is about. Have you read
exactly
the article?
Right.
The article, it talks about how he put together his campaign, how he picks his mentors, how he sort of rose to the position.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the article on the politics of fear? Isn't that what this is all about? Isn't that what the cover is supposed to depict? What the politics of fear is all about. If we're going to boycott the New Yorker, then I say I would just as well go down to Rainbow Push headquarters and boycott Rainbow Push for what Jesse Jackson said.
If I see this magazine cover, okay,
right.
and I mean, this is pretty racial. I mean, let's look at it again. You've got Michelle Obama in an afro.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got, her husband, Barack Obama, in a turban. We're talking about racism and terrorism. I mean, these are and burning of the flag. I mean, these are the most sensitive issues in our country right now. If I see that, I'm going to think, oh my God, is this who we want in the White House?
But do you really, do you really believe that? Do you really believe it that if you see this article, or this cover, excuse me, you're going to say to yourself, oh, this is Barack and Michelle? I mean, no, this is crazy to me. This is satire. It's just no one was this outraged when someone had painted a cartoon of Condoleezza Rice as a pregnant black woman who had delivering a monkey as a baby. No one said anything. I didn't see the likes of Mr. Parks wanting to boycott that magazine that ran that cartoon. So this is satire. And so anybody that looks at a drawing of a cartoon and wants to say this is what my presidential candidate is going to be like, it's already ridiculous. It shouldn't be voting. They're retarded.
Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point of the fact that this magazine will be in newsstands across this country and internationally. No one is going to read the article to the fine point that you've just discussed it. It will leave the image and the impression of what the cover reflects. And for those who have those racist tendencies, those that already have those sexist tendencies...
They're not going to vote for Barack Obama anyway. So they're not going to vote for him anyway.
What has Michelle Obama done? What has Michelle Obama done in her life? What has Michelle Obama done in her life that would allow you to depict her in fatigues, a bandolier, and a machine gun on a cover of a magazine?
Ask the people.
There is absolutely nothing. She's never quoted a word, stated a word, or persona in any way close to what's depicted on this magazine. So satire would not even have a place here.
Ask the people who are pushing that message about Michelle and Barack Obama. That's who they're talking about when they draw a satirical cartoon. I mean, I don't think there's anybody walking around today that will see a cartoon drawn like that on the cover of the New Yorker, by the way. Not Time, not Newsweek, the New Yorker, which is a literary journal. of commentary, social commentary, reporting, and so forth. No one's going to walk by that and say, oh, wow, I knew that about Barack Obama was true. Now that I see it on
All right,
New Yorker.
let me ask you guys.
If that happens, they weren't going to vote for him anyway.
This magazine cover
let me ask you a
hits at
question.
the lowest level of people's thought processes.
Councilman, let me pose this. And Councilman, I'll start with you. I've known you for a long time. You've broken a lot of barriers as a black professional, being a police officer, the chief of the LAPD. Now you're in the political arena. Do you think in any way that this cover sets us back, that it's more divisive than anything else, and only proves that we're still pretty racially insensitive?
Well, I think what it does is that it forgets that the eye of the beholder is the one that sets the judgment. It's not those who did the printing, it's those who receive the message. And I think it does set us back, because every now and then when you get something like this, you have to go back and look at the calendar and realize it's 2008, and we've just taken a major step back to where this wouldn't be acceptable decades ago. The fact is, today you have more people that will speak out on it, but it wasn't acceptable in decades ago when people were going through many, many other issues that dealt with racism, sexism. So it's certainly not appropriate today.
Shelley, there's definitely a risk when you lampoon ignorance. That is for sure. Not everyone's going to get it. You give me the final thought.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying, if we're going to be politically correct on satire, then what is the definition of satire? If you're going to knock down what's something that's clearly satirical, then where do we go from here? Now we have nothing out there. And I would say to Mr. Parks, if we're going to be set back, then we need to be as outraged at Jesse Jackson's comments last week, because that set us back 150 years back to the days of lynching, and because he said it doesn't take away from the fact that it set us back almost 150 years.
I don't think it's a benefit no matter who does the harm. And I think
fair enough.
No one
but
has
there's no
seen,
harm in this.
Anyone supporting Jesse Jackson. And I think what we need to do is find out how many people out of 10 understand what satire is, and look at it in the face of what it is. It's a picture that depicts what could be the first couple of the United States in a very derogatory manner, and brings up all of the fears and anger which drives people to the worst conclusions they can come up with.
And gentlemen,
I think that's totally inappropriate.
And if nobody knows what satire is, they shouldn't be voting.
But Shelley, that's my final point, is that when you lampoon ignorance, you know, not everybody is going to get it, and it's risky. It's a definite risk.
That's what satire is. That's the definition of satire.
And we all appreciate it. Shelley Winter, Councilman Bernard Parks. Gentlemen, great conversation.
Thank you, Kira.
Thanks, guys.